She didn't think you'd leave. She thought you'd always be there, waiting, forgiving, chasing. She thought no matter how many times she ignored you, hurt you, or took you for granted, you'd never walk away. But you did. And now she can't stop thinking about you. The silence is louder than your voice. The absence is heavier than your presence ever was. She scrolls through old messages at 2 a.m., replaying every moment, every laugh, every fight. And for the first time, she realizes something. You weren't replaceable. You were rare, and she lost you. People will only treat you the way you allow them to. If you keep giving everything and expecting nothing, you'll keep finding yourself empty, exhausted, and forgotten. Because here's the hard truth. The world reflects back to you the value you place on yourself. If you treat yourself like you don't matter, people will believe you. If you tolerate disrespect, they'll keep giving you more. If you stay silent when you should speak up, they'll assume your silence means approval. And if you keep showing up for people who wouldn't even think twice about you, they'll continue taking advantage of your kindness. You have to understand something deeply. Respect doesn't start with them. It starts with you. When you set low standards, you invite low quality treatment. When you keep lowering your boundaries to make people stay, you're teaching them that your limits are negotiable, that your heart is disposable, and that your time is cheap. And then you wonder why they don't value you. People notice when you value yourself. They notice how you walk, how you speak, how you carry your energy. They notice when you have boundaries, and they test them. Not because they hate you, but because they want to see if you really believe in your worth. But here's what most people don't want to accept. Self-value isn't about being loud, arrogant, or distant. It's about quiet strength. It's about saying no when you need to, even if your voice shakes. It's about choosing yourself, even when it means losing people. It's about refusing to beg for the bare minimum when you know you deserve more. You have to be the first person to respect your time. You have to be the first person to honor your boundaries. You have to be the first person to walk away when something doesn't serve your growth. Because if you don't, no one else will. The truth is, people treat you based on what you allow. If you always give second chances, they'll keep hurting you. If you always pick up the phone, even when they ignored yours, they'll keep neglecting you. If you accept crumbs, they'll never give you the whole loaf. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you believe you deserve. And if you believe you're worthy of love, respect, and loyalty, you won't settle for anyone or anything that gives you less. The moment you start valuing yourself, everything changes. Your energy changes. Your standards change. Your relationships change. Your life changes. And yes, some people will leave when you start choosing yourself. Let them. Their departure is a sign they were only staying because you didn't know your worth. The right ones won't fear your boundaries. They'll respect them. The right ones won't take advantage of your kindness. They'll cherish it. The right ones won't make you question your value. They'll remind you of it. The more you respect yourself, the less you'll tolerate what doesn't align with your growth. The more you value your time, the less you'll waste it on meaningless connections. The more you prioritize your peace, the less chaos you'll invite into your life. And one day, without realizing it, you'll look back at the version of you who used to beg for love, attention, and acceptance, and you won't even recognize them. Because once you truly know your worth, you stop asking for it from anyone else. There comes a moment when holding on hurts more than letting go. A moment when you've given everything, your time, your energy, your love, and still it's not enough. You replay the memories, the promises, the forevers that turned into goodbyes, and you wonder where it all went wrong. But deep down, you know the truth. You can't force someone to see your worth if they're blind to it. You can't make someone stay if they've already decided to leave. Begging someone to stay doesn't make them love you more. It only teaches them that you're willing to lower your dignity just to keep their presence. And when people know you'll do anything not to lose them, some of them start giving you less effort, less respect, less love, because they believe you'll accept it. Because you've shown them you'd rather lose yourself than lose them. But walking away, that's different. Walking away is power. Walking away is self-respect. Walking away says, I will not fight for a place in someone's life who doesn't fight for me. You see, there's something magnetic about distance. The moment you stop chasing, you create space. And in that space, people are forced to confront your absence. They realize what you brought into their life. They feel the silence. They notice the void where your energy used to be. Sometimes, it's only when you leave that they finally understand your value. But here's the truth most people avoid. Walking away isn't about them. It's about you. It's about choosing yourself when someone else refuses to. It's about reclaiming your energy from places where it's not appreciated. It's about refusing to beg for love, loyalty, or attention when you know deep inside you deserve better. Staying where you're not valued drains you slowly. It makes you question your worth. It convinces you that maybe you're not enough, when the reality is, you've been more than enough all along. You've been giving your heart to someone who didn't know how to hold it. And the longer you stay, the smaller you become. People think strength is holding on, but real strength is knowing when it's time to let go. It's standing tall when your heart is breaking. It's choosing peace over chaos, even when it hurts. It's saying, I deserve better, and actually meaning it. And yes, walking away is terrifying. It's walking into the unknown. It's leaving behind memories, comfort, and the illusion of what could be. But sometimes, the unknown holds more peace than the familiar pain you've been living with. Understand this. Begging for love doesn't create it. Begging for respect doesn't earn it. Begging for attention doesn't guarantee it. When someone chooses you, they choose you freely. Not because you convinced them to, not because you pleaded, but because they see your worth on their own. If they have to be reminded to love you, they don't truly love you. If you have to constantly prove why you deserve to stay, They don't truly see you. If you have to fight for the bare minimum, you're already losing yourself. Walking away is not about pride. It's about self-preservation. It's protecting your heart from breaking into pieces it can't recover from. It's protecting your spirit from being drained by someone who never intended to pour into you. It's understanding that someone's inability to love you has nothing to do with your value and everything to do with their capacity. You have to remember this. Love should never make you beg. Respect should never make you compromise your dignity. Attention should never come at the cost of your self-worth. And if someone forces you to choose between them and your peace, you choose your peace every single time. Because every second you spend begging for someone to stay is a second you steal from yourself. A second you could be healing. A second you could be growing. A second you could be pouring your energy into someone or something that truly values you. And one day, you'll realize the strength it took to walk away was the very thing that saved you. Because walking away isn't giving up. It's choosing yourself in a world that taught you to choose everyone else first. There comes a time when your presence stops making an impact, not because you aren't valuable, but because you've given too much of yourself. You were always there, always available, always forgiving, always showing up no matter how many times you were ignored, hurt, or taken for granted. And at some point, they stopped noticing, not because you weren't enough, but because you were too present. Familiarity breeds comfort, and sometimes comfort breeds carelessness. When people know you'll always pick up the phone, they stop calling. When they know you'll always forgive, they stop apologizing. When they believe you'll never leave, they stop choosing you. And slowly, without realizing it, your presence begins to lose its weight. But the moment you step away, everything changes. Your silence becomes louder than your words ever were. Your absence becomes heavier than your presence ever felt. The same people who once overlooked you suddenly start noticing what's missing. Because distance creates awareness, and awareness creates respect. There is a strange power in walking away quietly, without arguments, without warnings, without explanations. When you no longer fight for attention, you take away the comfort they had in knowing you'd never leave. And that absence, that space, forces people to confront the truth they ignored for so long. You were never ordinary. People rarely value what they have until it's gone. As long as you're there, they assume you'll always be there. But the moment you withdraw your energy, they start to feel the void. The conversations feel emptier. The days feel colder. The silence hits differently. It's human nature. We take consistency for granted. We assume love is endless, attention is permanent, and loyalty is guaranteed. But your absence shatters that illusion. It reminds them that nothing and no one is infinite. And this isn't just about relationships. It's about friendships, family, work, and every area of your life where you've been undervalued. When you constantly give, people stop seeing your effort as a gift. They start treating it like an obligation. But when you pull back, when you stop showing up the way you used to, they're forced to recognize just how much you carried, Your absence creates contrast. It highlights everything you brought into their life: the support, the comfort, the understanding, the love, the energy, the peace. And suddenly, they realize that what they thought was normal was actually rare. This is why boundaries are powerful. Boundaries are not walls to keep people out. They're filters that teach people how to treat you. When you're always available, always accessible, always willing, you unintentionally teach people that your time and energy have no limits. And if they believe your time is endless, they won't value a single second of it. But when you step back, you shift the dynamic. You show them without words that your presence is earned, not owed. You make them question themselves. Why did they stop calling? Why did they pull away? What changed? And in that questioning, they begin to respect what they once dismissed. Because absence forces reflection. Reflection brings realization, and realization creates respect. But here's the deeper truth. Your absence isn't about punishing anyone. It's about protecting yourself. It's about reclaiming your energy from places where it isn't appreciated. It's about giving your time to yourself instead of wasting it on those who never valued it. Sometimes, people don't change until they lose access to you. They don't notice your kindness until they feel your silence. They don't appreciate your love until they experience your distance. And they don't respect your value until they no longer have it in their life. Your presence is powerful, but your absence speaks louder. Because when you're gone, they can't ignore what you brought into their life. They can't deny the difference you made. They can't escape the reality that what they once overlooked, they may never find again. But the most important part of this isn't about making them miss you. It's about making yourself remember. Remember who you are. Remember your worth. Remember that you're not meant to beg for attention, approval, or love. Remember that your energy is precious, and not everyone deserves access to it. Respect doesn't come from chasing. It doesn't come from proving. It doesn't come from begging. Respect is born when you know your value so deeply that you're willing to walk away from anything that doesn't match it. Your absence creates the space for people to see what they failed to see when you were right in front of them. It forces them to confront what life feels like without your energy. And it silently teaches them a lesson words never could. That nothing in this life is guaranteed, not even you. There comes a point in life when you have to stop running after people who keep walking away. Stop begging for love. Stop pleading for attention. Stop proving your worth to someone who already decided you're not valuable to them. Because here's the truth most people avoid. If someone chooses to lose you, chasing them won't make them stay. It won't change their heart. It won't create love where there's none. It will only drain you, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. You can't make someone see your value if they're committed to being blind to it. You can't force someone to appreciate your presence when they've already taken it for granted. And you can't teach someone how to love you when they've already chosen not to try. When you chase someone who's walking away, You're sending a silent message. My value depends on your validation. You're telling them you'll accept less than you deserve just to keep them in your life. And the more you chase, the less they respect you. People respect what they have to earn. They value what they have to fight for, and they cherish what they fear losing. But if you make yourself too available, if you keep forgiving, keep staying, keep showing up despite their neglect, they start believing you'll never leave. And when someone believes you'll never leave, they stop choosing you. You have to understand something deeply. Love is not proven through pursuit. It's proven through presence. It's not about how hard you fight to keep them. It's about how willing they are to fight to keep you. And if they're not fighting for you, why are you bleeding for them? Walking away isn't weakness. It's strength. It takes courage to stop giving your energy to someone who refuses to match it. It takes power to let go when every part of you wants to hold on. And it takes self-respect to say, if you can live without me, then I can live without you. Because here's the reality. The right people won't make you chase them. They won't force you to beg for their time, their love, or their attention. They'll meet you where you are. They'll choose you without hesitation, without confusion, without games. But when someone chooses to lose you, let them. Don't argue. Don't explain yourself 100 times. Don't break yourself into pieces, trying to fit into their small world. Because the harder you chase, the faster they'll run. Not because they hate you, but because people don't value what they don't have to earn. Your energy is rare. Your love is valuable. Your presence is powerful. And the moment you realize that, you'll stop wasting it on people who treat it like it's disposable. You can't keep pouring into someone who leaves your cup empty. You can't keep showing up for someone who doesn't notice when you're gone. You can't keep holding on to someone who's already let go of you. Because the more you chase, the more you lose yourself. Every time you run after someone who walks away, you're abandoning yourself. You're choosing them over your peace, your dignity, your worth. And one day, you'll wake up exhausted from trying to be enough for someone who never intended to stay. But when you stop chasing, everything changes. The power shifts, not because you're playing games, but because you finally choose yourself. You reclaim your time. You reclaim your energy. You reclaim your self-respect. And something incredible happens when you let go. Clarity arrives. You start seeing people for who they really are, not who you wanted them to be. You realize that someone choosing to lose you doesn't mean you're unworthy. It means they weren't capable of seeing your worth. It means they weren't ready to handle your heart. It means their chapter in your story was never meant to last forever. You have to remember, you are not here to convince anyone to love you. You are not here to prove why you deserve their time. You are not here to compete for a place in someone's life who doesn't want you there. Love is not meant to be chased. It's meant to be mutual. And sometimes, walking away isn't about giving up on them. It's about choosing yourself. It's about saying, I deserve someone who doesn't make me question my worth. It's about refusing to be an option when you know you are the prize. Because the truth is, the moment you stop running after what's leaving, you make room for what's meant to stay. Let them go. Let them choose someone else. Let them think the grass is greener elsewhere. Because the ones who are meant for you will never put you in a position where you have to question your value. They won't make you fight for the bare minimum. They won't confuse you with mixed signals and empty promises. They'll make you feel secure without you having to earn it. And here's the irony. When you finally stop chasing, that's when they notice. That's when the silence gets loud. That's when the absence hurts more than your presence ever did. Because the moment you stop fighting for them, they're forced to face the truth they never wanted to admit. They lost someone who would have done anything for them, and they'll never find another you. There comes a time when you get tired of trying, tired of explaining yourself, tired of giving your all to people who only give you half, tired of begging for attention, validation, and love from those who act like your presence is optional. And then something inside you shifts. You stop chasing. You stop arguing. You stop proving your worth to people who never saw it in the first place. Instead, you turn all that energy inward, and that's when everything changes. Because the moment you start focusing on yourself, they start noticing your absence. They feel the silence. They sense the distance. They realize something is different, even if you haven't said a word. That's the paradox of human nature. When you're always available, they take you for granted. When you're always the one calling, texting, checking in, and showing up, they assume you'll never stop. But the second you shift your energy back to yourself, the dynamic changes completely. Suddenly, they start wondering why you're no longer chasing. They start questioning why you're no longer fighting to keep the connection alive. And for the first time, they feel the weight of losing you. Your silence speaks louder than any words ever could. Your distance forces them to confront what they never wanted to admit. They thought you'd always be there, but now they're not so sure. This is why self-focus is powerful. When you invest your energy in your growth, your goals, your peace, and your happiness, you naturally create distance from people who once drained you. And in that distance, they begin to see everything they overlooked. The truth is, people don't realize your value when you're constantly available. They realize it when they no longer have access to you. They realize it when the calls stop coming. They realize it when the good morning texts disappear. They realize it when you're no longer the one holding the relationship together while they barely try. But focusing on yourself isn't about making them miss you. It's about finding yourself again. It's about reclaiming the energy you gave away too freely. It's about rediscovering the version of you that existed before the disappointments, before the heartbreaks, before the constant feeling of not being enough. You start working on yourself, your mindset, your body, your dreams, your purpose. You start building the life you deserve instead of waiting for someone else to complete it. You start choosing your peace over chaos, your growth over drama, your happiness over temporary attention. And while you're doing this, something unexpected happens. The same people who once ignored you start noticing you. The ones who once made you feel small start realizing how much you actually brought to their lives. The ones who thought you'd never walk away start wondering if they were wrong. Because people are drawn to energy. And when your energy shifts from chasing them to elevating yourself, they can feel it. They sense the confidence, the strength, the independence radiating from you. They start seeing you differently. Not because you've changed for them, but because you've finally chosen you. This is when they start missing you. They miss the version of you who always cared, who always gave, who always tried. They miss the comfort of knowing you were one call away. They miss the attention they once took for granted. They miss the love they thought would never stop flowing. But here's the deeper truth. You didn't become valuable the moment they started missing you. You were valuable all along. They just couldn't see it until your absence forced them to. Focusing on yourself doesn't mean you stop loving others. It doesn't mean you become cold, selfish, or distant out of bitterness. It means you've realized that pouring into others while neglecting yourself only leaves you empty. It means you've learned that the greatest act of love you can give anyone is becoming the best version of yourself. And the irony is, the more you focus on yourself, the less you care about whether they miss you or not. Because your happiness stops depending on their attention. Your peace stops depending on their approval. Your worth stops depending on their validation. You realize you don't need them to see you, to know your value. You don't need them to choose you to feel worthy. You don't need them to stay to believe you're enough. And that shift, that quiet transformation, is what makes them notice you more than ever before. Because now, you've stopped giving them free access to your time, your heart, and your energy. You've stopped overextending yourself for people who barely met you halfway. You've stopped being available to everyone at the cost of losing yourself. You've redirected your energy into becoming someone you're proud of. And that's magnetic. People are drawn to confidence. They're drawn to independence. They're drawn to those who are so focused on their own path that they don't have time to beg for validation. When you focus on yourself, you stop chasing and start attracting. You attract respect because you respect yourself. You attract love because you radiate self-worth. You attract opportunities because your energy aligns with growth and abundance. And yes, they'll miss you. They'll miss the way you used to give without limits. They'll miss the way you used to make them feel like a priority. They'll miss the version of you they thought would never stop trying. But by the time they realize it, you've already outgrown the need for their approval. You've evolved into someone who no longer settles for half-hearted effort and inconsistent love. You've become someone who chooses peace over chaos, alignment over confusion, and self-respect over temporary comfort. And as you keep building yourself, as you keep thriving, as you keep focusing on becoming the best version of you, something inside you changes forever. You no longer crave their attention. You no longer beg for their presence. You no longer feel the need to prove your worth to anyone. Because the moment you focus on yourself, you stop needing them to see you. And that's exactly when they start seeing you more clearly than ever before. They start realizing how rare you are. They start regretting the way they treated you. They start understanding what they lost when they chose not to choose you. They start missing your kindness, your energy, your presence, your love. They start missing the version of you that gave endlessly and expected nothing in return. But by then, you've learned the most powerful truth of all, Lee. You were never missing anything without them. They were missing everything without you. Stop looking back. Stop waiting for closure. Stop wondering if she regrets it. She does. But that's her battle, not yours. Your job now is simple: rise, build, level up. Because the best revenge is becoming the man she'll never get back.